Welcome back to the Sports Buzz. We are at Zaxby's. Nick Roush, what's your favorite thing about Zaxby's?
The sauce. The sauce is boss, no matter what. And I like that you can get regular chicken wings, but also the boneless ones too. You can't get regular chicken wings that are delicious at a place like Zaxby's anywhere else.
No, you're absolutely right about that. Would you say that you get lost in the sauce?
Oh, definitely. It's a problem I have, actually.
Well,
Need to seek help.
Well, we hope you get the help that you need. We're happy to be broadcasting here. We did a little recap there in the first segment, but it's 2020.
Yes.
It's a new year, and Kentucky has played their first basketball game yesterday against Missouri. And Nick, if you were anything like me, the first 8 minutes you were thinking to yourself, oh no, here we go again. It's going to be another ugly UK offense performance. This game may come down to the wire. It had an Evansville feel to it. It had a Utah feel to it, but UK able to do enough in that first half to turn things around.
Yeah, it was a slobber knocker. Missouri's a good defensive team. Kwanzaa Martin, they play a physical brand of ball. But to see Nick Richards be the one to put the team on his back, he scored the team's first at least 9. I believe it could have got up to 13 points or something.
Yeah.
He was just a man on a mission.
14 to 16.
To keep Kentucky in the game in that first half. And then for the rest of the team, Ashton Hagans did a good job of getting the ball moving on transition off of turnovers and finding Emmanuel quickly. They were throwing extra passes, and that was what I was most encouraged to see, and that's really what fed their run for them to pull away in the second half.
Did you notice I didn't tweet about the officials yesterday?
Is that a New Year's resolution?
It really is.
I'm proud of you, TJ.
One for one. Now, that being said, Bob Huggins yesterday after West Virginia's game against Kansas. West Virginia, I think, was leading at halftime. They were playing really well in that game. Again, at Kansas, West Virginia has been a nice surprise team. We don't need to get more into the Mountaineers. After the game, though, he called the ref 3 blind mice. He's getting after them. John Calipari, you need to do the same. Mitch Barnhart, you need to step up. He's in cooperation with the NCAA. People need to speak up because basketball is getting to be unwatchable. And Kentucky got a favorable whistle against Missouri.
Yeah.
I have no issue with that. The officials helped UK yesterday. I have no shame in saying that. That happens to most teams when they're playing at home. But that, even in saying that, it's just so freaking boring, Nick Roush.
Just a little knick-knack.
Review.
Don't touch
Review.
it. Yeah.
Let's go to the review. 10 minutes later, we'll come back and we'll play a little bit. Oh, nope, never mind. Review. Let's do it again. They don't play. There's no rhythm to basketball anymore,
man.
and it's not just a UK issue. It was the same way in the Louisville game. They lost to Florida State.
Stephen Enoch and Nick Richards were having a fun battle, and the refs took him out of the game. And the same thing with Jeremiah Tillman for Missouri. Like, the ref took Tillman out of the game. That would have been a fun matchup to see them go back and forth. The refs are just like, you know what? Watch us. Watch me.
And I'm just getting sick of it. It's been this way, really, and maybe the one and done, we can maybe spend more time on this in the radio show. Maybe the one and done era has changed things for officials. The game has become harder to officiate. You bring in the review process, which I like getting calls right, but you don't need to go to the monitor every 2 seconds. It gives teams timeouts that basically at this point, why are we giving teams 6 timeouts plus 30 reviews in a game? There really needs to be a fix in college basketball. I think it starts with officiating. Just let people play a little bit more. Let's not call every little touch foul.
Right.
Let's not do a technical because 2 players are talking trash to one another. It is a sporting event. They're allowed to compete and talk trash. Now, that being said, I was really impressed with the way UK responded. They closed out the game poorly, which was disappointing.
Yeah.
They probably had about an even distribution of good basketball and bad basketball. But we saw another sign, Nick, when this team's playing well, I think they can beat anybody in the country.
Yes.
Now, they have a win against Louisville, Michigan State. Missouri's not that great, but they look good when they're hitting shots. It's that simple.
I mean, but there is a concern moving forward, and it's the injury bug. And, TJ, I want to know on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried were you when you saw Ashton Hagans pull up?
30.
I mean,
36.
It was almost a disaster, a complete and utter failure, because there was 90 seconds left in the game, and Ashton Hagans pulls up, and he didn't even do anything. It's not like he, stepped on somebody's foot or came down awkwardly. He was just backpedaling, and his foot just kind of bounced or something. I don't even know what happened.
Looked like he did a little double step with his foot where I don't know if thought he was.
It was like he skid or something on
It was bizarre.
weird.
He instantly goes back, clutching down near his Achilles. And John Calipari said as much, that my initial thought was, well, he's done for the year. He's out for the season, and he's going to have a full year of recovery because Achilles injuries are really the worst in sports. You hear about
terrible.
ACLs and MCLs and all this all the time. Ask anybody in sports, they'll tell you Achilles are the worst injuries that you can have. After the game, John Calipari says it's just a low ankle sprain, which is really the best kind of ankle sprain
you don't want
can
a
hope
high,
for.
you want a low one.
If you've got an injury somewhere in your foot or leg, lower leg, a low ankle sprain is literally
Probably
the best thing you can hope for.
Yeah.
Now, there are UK fans that have a conspiracy theory that John Calipari and UK with injuries, they're always hiding something. It's not this simple with Ashton Hagans. Do you believe that?
I would say that even though it is just a low ankle sprain, I'm going to expect him to be out longer than most. Kentucky plays Georgia on Tuesday, and it's unfortunate, but we're not going to see that Ashton Hagans Anthony Edwards matchup.
Well, maybe have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait a little while for that. And also, I mean, just you should worry about bodies because Johnny Juzang was sick. They don't know if he'll be able.
Yeah. Is there a word that is more ominous than quarantined?
I just immediately think of outbreak.
Me too.
And
like a bubble boy.
Yeah, you know, wearing the full mask.
Really,
and
he's
Cuba
probably.
Gooding Jr. Oh no, the glove is cut. Ah.
But really, he's probably in a dorm room playing video games, eating whatever he wanted, living the life. But I had this picture that like the Joe Kraft Center was now under this ginormous bubble.
And you get like when you walk in the doorway, there's like the smoke that comes over you to make sure you don't bring any germs. But I mean, Kentucky's got to be legitimately concerned. They're going to have 7 scholarship players in their first SEC road game. And yes, it's
first road game of the season.
It's Tom Crean in Georgia, but they just went out and beat Memphis.
They just won at Memphis.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, one of the best players in the country. Now that Cole Anthony is out for North Carolina is a freaking mess. Josh Pastner just spanked them down there at Chapel Hill. Now, that being said,
they got a good lefty. Georgia has a lefty who's got a good 3-point shooter. You can't give him.
It's going to be a really tough
Tuesday
game,
night,
and that's going to be a really rowdy atmosphere for the Cats when they play down in Athens, and they may be shorthanded. I agree with you. I do not expect to see Ashton Hagans in that game. If he is able to go, I wouldn't expect him to be 100%. This is just going to be one of those games for Kentucky's. Go out there, try to give yourself a chance at the under 4-minute timeout. Georgia's not great, so if you can be good enough defensively, frustrate Anthony Edwards a little bit. There's also a theory this will be probably Anthony Edwards' biggest game of the year.
Right.
Tuesday against Kentucky at home. Georgia has a little momentum, like we said.
Yeah.
All eyes will be on him.
I believe it's a 9 o'clock game too.
It is,
primetime
which
audience.
stinks. I'm going to get no sleep. But that being said, maybe he tries to press a little bit too much. He's a young player. We see that happen from time to time. So Kentucky, I'm not saying that's an automatic loss, but that game becomes much more difficult than we would have ever thought playing against Tom Crean in Georgia.
My only hope moving forward, not just in the immediate future, but 2-3 weeks from now, I hope we're not in a PJ Washington foot situation with Ashton Hagans' ankle. I can't do the injury. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? I can't. I'm over all that. I can't do the drama.
Well, you'll do it if that's what it happens.
Oh, but I don't want that. Please.
I'm putting trust in UK athletics and John Calipari and believing that it is a low ankle sprain. And I don't think we see him against Georgia. It's a short turnaround for anybody. I do think Saturday, though, when Kentucky returns to Rupp Arena, we'll see him. Hey, we're going to come back for one final segment. We're here at Zaxby's. We're starting to get hungry, but one final segment. Nick Roush, TJ Walker will be right back.
Give me some chicken wings.